Are the Mavericks ready for liftoff tonight as they take on the Houston Rockets in Houston? We'll get you ready for tonight's game. Coming up next on the DLLS Mavs pregame show. Welcome to the DLLS Mavs pregame show powered by Michelob Ultra. Cheer on your team as Michelob Ultra at 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's a superior smooth taste worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, official beer sponsor of the NBA. Kevin Gray alongside our DLLS Mavs analyst Bobby Carilla. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys, cover your favorite team, especially when they get ready to take on division rival, the Houston Rockets. We'll get you ready for tonight's game here over the course of the next half hour, with who's in, who's out, what to look for as far as our X factors are concerned, our Mavericks player spotlight, and our DLLS Mavs beat writer Ron Harrod Jr. from Houston. Look forward to that conversation with him a little bit later on. But on this magical Monday, Bobby Carilla, we've got a busy night here at DLLS Sports. Coming up in about 13 minutes, our DLLS Cowboys pregame show going to kick off to get you ready for Monday Night Football between the Cowboys and the Cardinals at AT&T Stadium, while we get you ready for Mavericks Rockets tonight down in Houston. What's going on, man? How we feeling?
Feeling pretty good, Kevin. Feeling pretty good. We're going to absolutely sports it the heck up here tonight.
We are. We're going to do it with pizza, with you, with friends, and hopefully some winning basketball on the floor for your Dallas Mavericks and the same for your Dallas Cowboys at AT&T. Let's get into it because the Mavericks, of course, come into tonight's game 2-4 on the young season after 6 games, taking on a streaking Rockets team that's won 3 straight after losing their first 2. The Mavericks, of course, come into tonight's game looking for their first win against a Western Conference opponent. That game will tip off, of course, at 7 p.m. You can watch the game on KFAA Channel 29 with the Mavericks, of course, 2-4 overall. Haven't played a true road game yet. They'll do so tonight. Meanwhile, Rockets 3-2, 1-1 so far at Toyota Center in Houston. Rockets tonight, gentlemen, a 12.5-point favorite at home with the over-under at 225.5. In other words, Vegas predicts BTA tonight in Houston, courtesy of the Dallas, or the Houston Rockets, I should say. Hopefully that is not the case. Meanwhile, the Mavericks, of course, coming off that 122-110 loss on Saturday night in Mexico City to the Detroit Pistons. They will play 3 of their next 4 games on the road. They'll be back home on Wednesday. Well, there'll be some big evaluations going on, reevaluations, I should say. We'll get to that a little bit later on when it comes to Derek Lively and Anthony Davis. But the Mavericks, of course, will play 3 out of 4 on the road. They look for their first win against a Western Conference opponent, having lost to the Thunder and the Spurs already. Meanwhile, Rockets starting off 0-2, including that double overtime loss against the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've won 3 straight, including what was a 128-101 blowout victory on the road against the Boston Celtics on Saturday night, led by Kevin Durant, who had 26 points in that win. They're also looking for their first win against a Western Conference opponent this year. They will play their next 3 games on the road after tonight, starting on Wednesday when they take on the Memphis Grizzlies. That gets you set up for tonight's game between these 2 teams. Let's get to our Carella Strader scouting report, focusing on the Rockets when it comes to the rebound and transition game for this team.
Yeah, so Houston is a team that's known more for its defense than its offense, but if you look at the numbers, it's the number 1 offense in the NBA right now.
That's right.
It's unbelievable. They score it really well, and they're doing it not just in the open floor. They have a lot of athletes. Amen Thompson and Tari Eason can run, and basically everyone. KD obviously is a huge threat. A lot of guys that can get up and down the floor, but Houston has by far the most efficient half-court offense in the NBA. They're averaging 1.263 points per possession in the half-court this season, which is unholy. That is so good. The Mavs, meanwhile, rank dead last, 30th place at 1.028, which is by far the worst mark in the league. So if this game is played at a snail's pace, very contained, controlled basketball, that bodes very poorly for the Mavs. Now, defensively, the Mavs are pretty good defending in the half court. I mean, they're good defending everywhere. They're a top 10 defense right now, but they rank 5th in the league in half court defense. The Rockets, meanwhile, they rank 12th in the league in half court. So I think both teams offensively, Houston's like, man, we should just why press? We can just play our game and score. Meanwhile, the Mavs are going to want to get out in the open floor and turn this into a track meet. Both teams score well in transition. Both teams score efficiently and defend pretty efficiently too. But here's the Rockets' cheat code in the half court, because we on this show during the preseason and over the summer, we were kind of all taking turns glazing the Rockets and saying, meanwhile, turning around and saying, well, the Mavs, they don't have a lot of shooting. They're way too big. They don't have a lot of guard play or whatever. And I think there were a lot of viewers that were like, well, what the heck, man? The Rockets don't have a lot of shooting. The Rockets are really big. The Rockets don't have a lot of guards, especially when Fred VanVleet went down. But the Rockets make up for their lack of shooting, first off, by having KD, who is a complete cheat code, but also they get so many freaking offensive rebounds. They rebound 42% of their own misses, that's one of like the highest marks of all time, or at least in this era of basketball. Second place Utah in terms of offensive rebound percentage is closer to 10th place than they are to first.
Wow.
Like, that is how much better the Rockets are than everybody else. There has not been a game this season where they have not scored at least 15 second chance points. Okay, the Mavs have scored 15 second chance points once this year. So if both teams are going to struggle especially from distance, if both teams are going to lay a bunch of bricks, well, the Rockets have a huge leg up because they're averaging 5 to 10 more second chance points per game than the Mavs. And so Dallas has to make shots, or they've got to fight with the Rockets for rebounds because at both ends of the floor, because the Rockets have a bunch of size. When they get offensive rebounds, they kick it out to KD for 3, and he is really good at taking those. It's a very, very scary matchup for a team in the Mavs that's down AD, that's down Lively, and that's playing Gafford ostensibly, we believe, on a minutes restriction. Even if he plays a full go, he's only going to be out there for 24 to 30 minutes. So, like, it is going to be tough, man. It's going to be really, really tough to keep those guys off the glass.
You were correct in the former when it comes to Daniel Gafford. He will be on a 15 to 18-minute restriction tonight once again. So that rebounding is going to be that much more difficult with Gafford still working his way back from his ankle injury. That gets us to our lead story tonight, though. Two old Southwest Division rivals going in opposite directions heading into tonight's game. We started to touch on it. The Mavericks own the league's worst offense right now, taking on the Rockets with the #1 offense in the league. Mavericks also second worst point differential currently right now in the Western Conference. Meanwhile, the Rockets #1 in point differential right now through the first handful of games this season, with the Rockets with the momentum having won 3 straight games. Bobby, can the Mavericks find a way to get on track, especially as they continue to deal with these early season injuries? We've mentioned it with Daniel Gafford coming back from the ankle injury. No AD tonight, no Derek Lively the second either. This matchup is going to be tough given what this team has not been able to do offensively for the most part this year.
Yeah, for all the reasons I just said, but then also, too, I mean, God, we saw Ron Holland, and I mean, we've seen quick twitch guys on other teams have really good games against the Mavs. And the Rockets have just about the quickest, twitchiest, most explosive player in the NBA in Amen Thompson. And KD, I really don't think that we'll see how Cooper does, but the Mavs, despite having a lot of wings, despite having a lot of length, guys like PJ, Coop, Najee, like none of those guys I think have done very well against KD. Coop obviously has never played him, but the Mavs oftentimes double KD. Except sometimes they would trust Dorian to play him straight up. So if you're doubling KD, then that means you can't double anyone else. So then you're going to have Şengün backing down Dwight. Or if they go jumbo big, Şengün's going to be posting up a wing. There's a lot of matchup problems around the floor that I think stem from that size disadvantage. Because if the Mavs had proper amount of size, they could sag off someone. I don't know who it would be. Either Tari or maybe even Amen. They just sag off those guys, camp AD out in the lane, or camp Lively or camp Gafford out in the lane, play Şengün straight up, play KD straight up, and just hope for the best, right? But with such a size deficiency, if you're going to overreact to anyone, it's going to probably be either Şengün or KD, which means it's really tough, man. It's really, really tough. And then if you're playing all night in scramble defense, if you're too busy thinking about closing out on shooters, it's really hard to also think about boxing them out when a shot goes up, because you're just reacting to everything all the time as opposed to thinking ahead. So it's logistically and schematically, this game really has me shaking in my dirty Air Force Ones.
Tanner Cooper Flagg discussed the Mavericks offense after their loss on Saturday night against the Detroit Pistons. Here's what Cooper Flagg said that the Mavericks did well on offense that maybe can carry over into tonight's game. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I thought we did a good job of just picking our spots and trying to attack mismatches. That's something that we talked a lot about. You know, we've kind of talked about actually a lot through all these games so far, is just really trying to pick out mismatches and, you know, attack certain defenders. So I thought we did a good job of that. We were patient. We found our sprays, our kickouts, our driving kicks, and we were getting good looks. You know, we weren't hitting every shot, and you're never going to, but I thought we were getting good looks.
I'm going to take a brief second to give you this public service announcement. Listen to me now. Believe me later on. The starting lineup is out for your Dallas Mavericks.
No, it isn't.
It is. Are you ready?
It has to have a point guard.
Of course it doesn't. Are you kidding me?
Are you serious, dude?
Cooper Flagg, Max Christie, Klay Thompson, P.J. Washington Jr., and Daniel Gafford are your starting five tonight.
You are making me so angry.
I'm not making you angry at all. Tanner,
this is all your fault.
Thank you, Tanner. How many times I try to tell y'all? This is what it's going to be. It's Cooper Flagg, Max Christie, Klay Thompson, P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford.
This is the worst day of my life.
No, it's not. You're about to have pizza.
Can we, Tanner? Do you have those? Can we throw it to these emergency graphics? Do you have them?
Yeah. Who first? Does it matter?
Coop with D'Lo.
Okay.
Look how much better Cooper Flagg is with D'Angelo Russell on the floor.
Oh my gosh!
Than whenever he's off the floor. Coop scores way more efficiently. Like, his true shooting with D'Angelo Russell on is almost 62%, which is really freaking good.
Yeah.
With D'Angelo off, 44%, which is PU stinky. He shoots way better from three and gets to the rim or finishes at the rim way more often. Like, and that's with D'Angelo. How about with Brandon Williams? Do we have that? He does everything better with Brandon Williams on the floor. Look how much more he scores. His true shooting with Brandon Williams, is that 78%?
That's right, 78.7%.
He's shooting 50%. This is unbelievable. 75% at the rim. What are we doing, Kevin?
You need to ask Jason Kidd that question.
I can't. I'm not credentialed. You are.
You want me to ask him, why do you keep starting Cooper?
Hold him to account.
Listen, when I asked him that question, and I repeated myself because I was like, hey, you're going to continue to do it? He's like, yes, this is what we're going with until Kyrie Irving is healthy. Cooper Flagg's going to be the starting point guard.
No, he's not.
Get it in your mind.
No, he's not.
Look,
I
get
disagree.
it in your minds and in your brains. Sear it in. It's not changing. No matter how much success D'Angelo Russell's going to have off the bench, no matter how much success Brandon Williams is going to have off the bench, it's point Flagg from this point forward until Kyrie comes back.
It's not. Tanner?
Yes.
We've never done a bet on this show, have we?
Oh, wow.
I don't think so.
Not that we know of, no.
If it's the end of November and neither D'Angelo Russell nor Brandon Williams have started a game, and let's put some stipulations. No Klay injury, no Coop injury.
Okay.
If it gets to the end of November and neither of those guys has started at least one game, I'm buying the whole show dinner from the spot that I've bought the show once before. It's nice. It's good. It's yummy.
Okay.
And if they do start, I don't know. I'm not going to make you buy me dinner. We'll do something. We'll think of something.
Well, you'll see that starting lineup once again tonight. Cooper Flagg will be at your starting point guard position. Mavericks and Rockets playing the first of 4 meetings against each other tonight, with the next meeting coming in Dallas on December 6th. Of course, last year, big line of demarcation for your Mavericks because, of course, the Mavericks' debut of Anthony Davis came against the Houston Rockets back on what was February the 8th and what was a 116-105 win. The Mavericks that day had a franchise record 18 blocks in that game, and apparently the foundation of defense was championships around here. Daniel Gafford that day had 6 blocks against the Houston Rockets. Max Christie also had 4 3-pointers that day, led the team with 4 3-pointers made in that win. But the Rockets did win the season series 3-1 last year. Mavericks going to get off to a better start against Houston this year.
That game actually was the start of the Steven Adams Şengün frontcourt, which the Rockets wisely have gone away from, by the way. very wisely.
Well, what's weird is, and we'll talk about some more here in a few minutes, Şengün's starting to knock down threes. And if Şengün going to start knocking down threes,
good player.
That changes up a little bit on how you look at
me to say it.
the Rockets offensively.
He's been a star on my fantasy team this year.
Oh, there you go.
Playing basketball fantasy for the first time.
Oh, congrats.
Fantasy basketball.
That's right.
Basketball fantasy involves players that are no longer here playing here. That's my fantasy.
Coming up in just a few moments, we'll let you know who's in, who's out. Let's take a look at our X Factors and focus in on our Mavericks player spotlight. And welcome in our DLLS Mavs beat writer Ron Haraj. But before we get there, let's help you win some money when it comes to prize picks.
Yes, so my prize picks pick of the night. I'm absolutely on fire, by the way. I don't want to toot my own horn too much here, but I am doing pretty well. My pick of the night tonight, I'm trying to play a little safe. Alperen Şengün, you're going to score. I need this thing to pull up, Kevin. Alperen Şengün is going to score more than 17.5 points in this game, okay? I thought about going a little higher than that, but then I thought, all right, well, it could be either a lopsided blowout or the Mavs could double him. And either way, he might not score as much. Cooper Flagg, you're getting me at least 14 points, more than 13.5 points. And then Kevin Durant, more than 1.5 assists. That number just feels low to me anyway. But I really do think if he makes a couple shots, the Mavs might double him the way that they were doubling Tobias Harris in the post the other night. And so I think KD could, I repeat, could get me more than 1.5 assists. If you want to play along, download Prize Picks, use promo code DLLS when you sign up. You play a $5 lineup, you get $50 in free lineups, folks, and you can go on a hot streak like me and retire young.
Appreciate all of you hanging out with us here on our pregame show. Shout out to Shahid with the $2 super chat. Defense wins WWE championships. Touche.
Does it?
It does.
Is there defense in wrestling?
Yeah, it's called blocking the opponent for punching in the face.
Oh.
It's defense.
They don't actually punch each other, though, do they?
Do they?
I don't know.
Let's welcome in our DLLS Mavs beat writer, Ron Haraj Jr., live from Houston. There he is, in good light, too. Shout out to you for finding some good light inside Toyota Center.
Try to.
He knows sports. He is Ron Haraj Jr. Ron, what's going on?
Hey, how you all doing?
Doing well. I'm trying to keep Bobby from throwing things around here after I announced the starting lineup once again with Cooper Flagg as the starting point guard. Was unsuccessful. So if you see a bruise on my face, that's what that is.
I didn't do anything.
Okay.
Safely made it to Houston. What's the vibe in Houston for tonight's game?
Pretty good. You know, Coach actually laughed in the pregame conference when Dallas Morning News reporter Mike Curtis kind of asked about Cooper Flagg like not missing a free throw. He says if Flagg does miss, he's going to call a timeout and blame Mike. So I thought he seemed pretty light. Seeing Ime Udoka, a similar thing. I thought a big thing was Amen Thompson going to start. He confirmed that. He said Amen Thompson was going to start on Cooper Flagg, to be specific. Sorry, everybody. He's going to start at point guard. But yeah, he will start on Cooper Flagg, which, I mean, I saw Thompson got a lot of Cooper Flagg last game, but one of the best, if not the best perimeter defender in the NBA might just be in Houston. This is going to be a very tough matchup for the young point guard.
The Rockets do switch a lot. They switch on a lot of handoffs, but they have so many other guys like Tari Eason can stay in front of Coop. Josh Okogie, who starts, I think he can also give Coop a lot of troubles. And Josh Okogie, watch him, big-time flopper. So on those screens, on those handoffs, and then also if you're trying to – the Mavs do a lot of lowering the shoulder. PJ and Coop both going downhill. You got to be careful with that.
Boy, Flagg goes from one Thompson twin to the next. saw on Saturday, gets the other one, and probably in the better one for sure tonight against Houston. That gets us to our injury report going into tonight's game. We start with the Houston Rockets. Jabari Smith Jr., he's out tonight with a right ankle sprain. Tari Eason going to get the start in his place for Jabari Smith. Fred VanVleet continues to remain out, of course, that torn right ACL. One of our favorites, Dorian Finney-Smith, he is out as he continues to recover from left ankle surgery. J.D. Davison is out with personal reasons, and Kevon Brown, available tonight for the Rockets. Meanwhile, for your Dallas Mavericks, Anthony Davis, as expected, out tonight for the second straight game with the left calf strain. He will be reevaluated once the team gets back to Dallas ahead of their game on Wednesday against the New Orleans Pelicans. Ron, I'll go to you on this one because Derek Live II, he's also out again tonight with that right knee sprain. He's going to miss his fourth straight game. But what did Kid have to say about Lively and what's going to be happening with him once he gets back to Dallas?
He said that he also will be he said he also will be reevaluated whenever he gets back to Dallas. So I think we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens with Derek Lively. Kid kind of didn't lean either way, positive or negative. So we'll have to wait and see.
So Lively also going to be reevaluated once the Mavericks get back to Dallas ahead of their game against the New Orleans Pelicans. We'll see how that turns out. Kyrie Irving out again. And, of course, Dante Exum remains out with the right knee injury management is what they are calling it for Dante Exum. What else did Kid have to say prior to tonight's game?
Well, Daniel Gafford will also still be on the minutes restriction, that 15 to 18-minute restriction. There was like no timeline for when that will increase, but they will need him tonight. Again, a reporter asked, I can't remember who asked the question, kind of about like how important he's going to be tonight, especially with the offensive rebounding, the Rockets being, I think, the best team in the NBA at that statistic. And he said Daniel Gafford, it's going to be important, as well as PJ Washington and, kind of all the other players.
So Daniel Gafford on that 15, 18-minute restriction tonight as he works back in his second game from that right ankle injury. We'll see how he's able to perform against a very big lineup with depth in that front court when it comes to the Houston Rockets. That gets us to our Mavericks player spotlight on tonight, and we focus in on the non-starting D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell, who had 31 points in 30 minutes in Saturday night's game. Check this out. First Dallas Maverick this season to have a 30-point game this year for Dallas. Of course, he has scored at least 24 points in 2 of his last 3 games while averaging 27.5 minutes per game over his last 4. Also grabbed 7 rebounds, had 3 assists. Unfortunately, had 4 turnovers, had some big turnover issues in that fourth quarter, but he continues to provide an offensive punch. Here's what he had to say after the game against the Pistons on how he was able to get going offensively with shots going down.
Simple as that. Scoring the ball allows me to pass the ball. Simple mentality. They started to fall, opened up the game a little bit.
So there you go. Is it that simple for D'Angelo Russell? Shots start to fall, making him a better passer?
It's that simple for everybody. You gotta show the defense what you can do, make them react. And then from there, everything opens up.
And it did for D'Angelo Russell to the tune of 31 points in that game. They will need that similar offensive punch tonight, dealing with the number 1 offense in the NBA and a top 12 defensive team in the Houston Rockets. Mavericks come into tonight's game 8th in the NBA in defensive rating. We know where they are as far as the offensive rating is concerned for Dallas. That gets us to tonight's X Factors. Ron, we'll start with you on this one because we've talked about the offense and how good it's been for the Rockets so far this year. Interestingly enough, the Mavericks got to guard the three-pointer a little bit for Houston. They're number 1 in the NBA in three-point percentage at 45.4% for downtown. But interestingly enough, they only take 33s a game. So they got the number 1 three-point percentage, but they're only taking 30 a game. So the ones that they do take, they're knocking down. How do the Mavericks defend the Rockets a little bit from the three-point line tonight?
Well, one, they just have to not foul. I mean, I don't want to give KG an aneurysm, watching a 4-point play in this game. So, I mean, one, they have to make sure they're not fouling 3-point shooters. But again, I would love to see what the coverage is against Kevin Durant. Very highly of Durant in the pregame, talking about, he doesn't look his age, talking about kind of how graceful he's been this season. You have to just make sure that you're stopping Kevin Durant. I mean, he's still one of the 10 best players in the NBA. Getting him off the 3-point line, sadly, even Durant might be a better mid-range shooter than he even is a 3-point shooter. So you have to it has to be a team effort to stop a player of that caliber with the offensive talent. And you have to force the Tari Easons of the world and the Amen Thompsons. And even Sengun, even though he shot good from 3 this season, you still have to force those type of players to take more 3-pointers and keep them out of the paint.
Well, here's the issue. So if they do double KD, the ball's going to end up in the hands of one of these guys. Reed Shepherd, who this year is shooting 44.4%.
National Tim Alert.
Tari Eason, who this year is shooting 57.1%. Sengun this year, 52.9%. Or Josh Okogie, 60%. These dudes are red.
It's insane.
Freaking hot right now. It is unbelievable. They're missing Jabari Smith tonight,
but
who is the worst shooter in their team. He's only 36.7%. You want to know how many guys are shooting 37% for 3 on the Mavs? It's not very many. It is not very many.
Oh, boy. So there you go.
But Mavs fans, they might go towards the mean. They've been hot all season. maybe this is the game.
Maybe they'll regress. Maybe.
Maybe. Probably not, but we'll see.
Bobby, I'll go to this one on for the next X factor. Forcing the issue defensively for the Mavericks. The Rockets, as good as they've been offensively this year, tied for third worst in the NBA, committing over 17 turnovers per game through the first 5 games of the season for them. We know that the Mavericks want to build their identity on the defensive end. How do they start to force the issue against a team that's as good as the Rockets in the half court, but also has so far had a bit of a turnover problem this year?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, again, if they double KD to try and force them to make some tough passes. KD has the height to see over a lot of these guys, so we'll see if it actually works. But, again, the Rockets are facing kind of the same issue that the Mavs are, where they don't have a lot of guards. They just don't have a lot of playmakers and decision makers. And so if you can force these guys into either some tough decisions or tough areas on the floor, then they can cough it up. But what you don't want to do is take such a big risk that you get beat backdoor, or that you're not there for the box out, or that you're taking yourself out of the play, or that you're committing a foul. So it's about wise risk taking.
Ron, how does this team force?
I'm very interested to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say I'm just very interested to see where does Klay Thompson guard in this kind of matchup. I would assume it's Josh Okogie, but this is one of the fastest teams in the NBA as well. I mean, while they are a big team, again, Amen Thompson in transition, even when Reed Shepard comes in the game off the bench, and a lot of players like that, you're going to have to make sure you're kind of staying in front of these guys. So it's going to have to be a lot of ball pressure. I know the Mavs have they've had ups. They've been an up and down team in transition. They started off hot. It's kind of waned off over the last few games. They're going to have to keep a team like the Rockets in front of them the whole game. And again, it's tough to kind of guard really well in transition and try not to let the team get a lot of offensive rebounds. It's a very hard battle. I'm not acting like that's an easy thing to do. But against a team like the Rockets, you either are going to have to win one of those battles or you probably will lose the game.
And maybe Klay could put on for his girl tonight, Meg Thee Stallion. Of course, she's from Houston.
Yeah.
So maybe, he could put on.
She might be courtside. Maybe he'll be turned up, and then we get a. I see my girl. I'm trying to show out. Maybe he pulls that. Maybe he pulls it out tonight.
We'll see. Last one for you guys tonight. The Mavericks have to crash the defensive glass. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. Mavericks are facing a Rockets team that's number 1 in the NBA in offensive rebounding percentage at 42.1% this season. So with Gafford playing on a 15-18 minute night restriction, they're shorthanded right now in that front court. Team rebounding is going to have to be the name of the game. Cooper Flagg, among others, leading that charge along with PJ Washington, are going to have to help out the Mavericks bigs, because this is a team in Houston. Their best offense a lot of times is throwing up against the glass and getting an offensive rebound and getting second chance opportunities, which we saw them do a lot last year. They're better in the half court, but Ron, this is something that the Rockets are very good at in terms of getting offensive rebounds.
Yeah, I mean, Steven Adams is one of the best offensive rebounders of my lifetime and really just in NBA history. Teams fear him on the glass, which again is also why they can get out in transition and score a lot of points, because teams are trying to put multiple bodies at a player like Steven Adams. And if you can help him out with a 7-foot Kevin Durant and then with a, I think, 6'10" Sengun, it's a lot of bodies at the rim. So they're going to just have to do their best to put bodies on these players. But again, if they do get these rebounds and it does become a different type of transition possession for the Mavericks, they can get ahead of the Rockets, because if the Rockets are crashing off its rebound and the Mavericks do get the ball, they'll have numbers going on the other way. So it's just going to have to take that one or two guys to be able to crash and then another guy to be leaking out. And that could lead to some easy points for Dallas Mavericks.
Ron, we appreciate the time and the perspective. Enjoy tonight's game. We look forward to talking to you here on our post-game show after the Mavericks take on the Rockets, man. Appreciate the time.
See ya.
Bye, Ron.
He knows sports. That is Ron Harrod Jr. You can find him on X at Ron Knows Sports, our DLLS Mavs beat writer on the scene in Houston. That'll do
You know
it.
what this means?
What's that? It's pizza time.
It's pizza time.
That is pizza time. Appreciate our guy Tanner making us look good and sound good as always. Thank you, sir. We will be back here after tonight's game, about 10 to 15 minutes after the final buzzer tonight when the Mavericks take on the Rockets. Our national NBA insider, Mark Stein, will also be here in studio as well. Make sure you watch the game if you're going to be watching on KFA Channel 29, excuse me, and then join us for our post-game show immediately afterwards. That's our DLLS Mavs analyst, Bobby Krill. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you post-game right here on DLLS Sports. Y'all be good. We'll talk to you then. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.